Effective immediately, every purchase you make will be refunded 10 times over. The system will automatically unbind in 24 hours. 10 times back? No way. This has to be a scam. Forget it, nothing to lose. He loaded 2,000 yuan onto a test transaction. His jaw dropped. It was real. Every last penny of it. The realization hit him like a freight train. He was about to be very, very rich. Spend money, get money back. 10 times over. Couldn't be simpler. He transferred 20,000 to his buddy Chun Shuai and watched 200,000 land back in his account. The rush was intoxicating. He immediately shot another 200,000 Chun Shuai's way, just to watch the reaction. On the other end, Chun Shuai nearly choked. What the? 220,000. What the hell is going on? 220 grand. What are you doing? Where did you get that kind of money? Relax. Remember that 10,000 I borrowed from you a while back? Consider it paid back. I'm slammed right now, we'll talk later. Who borrows 10 grand and pays back 220? Loan sharks don't even charge that much. What are you pulling? I'll explain everything later. Wait. Didn't you say you were 100-something thousand in debt? Use it to pay that off. Stop overthinking. Alright. I'll go handle that. Call me when you've got a minute. In under 3 minutes flat, Chun Shuai had wiped out every last penny of his online loans and credit card debt. 2 million spent, 300,000 returned, 3 million in cashback alone. His bank account now held a staggering 4,700,000 yuan. He had exactly one real friend in this world. The rest were freeloaders. They didn't deserve a dime. There was nothing worth buying in his neighborhood. If he was going to burn money, he needed somewhere that knew how to take it. He flew down the stairs at a speed he hadn't moved at in years, flagged down a taxi, and the moment he was inside he said, "Ferrari dealership on Jianxi Road." Now, when you had money, you bought property and cars. The bigger the purchase, the faster the returns stacked up. While the cab crawled through traffic, he downloaded 3 major streaming platforms: Jianin, Shark, and Tiger. He had no interest in any of the streamers. He loaded 4 million yuan onto Jianin's platform and watched 40 million pour back. Without hesitating, he fed in another 6 million. 60 million came back. His balance now read 94,700,000 yuan. He couldn't hammer one platform too hard. That kind of transaction volume would draw eyes. He ran the same play on Shark and Tiger, 10 million into each. 200 million in cashback. Done. He glanced at the driver, who was taking his sweet time. Listen, I'm in a serious hurry. Push it as fast as you can, and I'll transfer you 5,000 right now. Deal? Hold on tight, my friend. Today, you're going to see what this city's best driver looks like behind the wheel. The cab surged forward like a launched rocket. He sent the 5,000, 500,000 came back. In barely half an hour, he had run nearly 300 million through the system. For most people, 300 million was a lifetime of freedom. For him, it was just the beginning. Under the driver's white-knuckle acceleration, they reached the Ferrari dealership in about 10 minutes. He stepped out and walked straight in. Welcome to Ferrari. Hello, sir. Do you have a particular model in mind today? Not yet. Give me a quick rundown of what you've got. I'll be swiping my card today. The saleswoman gave him a once-over. Plain clothes. The kind of outfit that, head to toe, probably didn't crack a few hundred yuan. Right this way, sir. This is the Ferrari 612. Currently listed at 5,700,000. Skip the pitch. I'll take this one. Now bring me a few more. I'm buying all of them. He almost laughed out loud. So this was what it felt like when fortune finally knocked on your door. Do you have the 812? The F12? The 599? The 488? The SF90? The 458? The FF? 7 models rattled off without blinking. The saleswoman blinked, but her professional instincts kicked in fast. Sir, we may not have all of those in stock. Some would need to be sourced from other locations. Fine. Those 7 plus the 612, 8 cars total. Don't bother showing me trims. Full premium configuration on all of them. Red and black for the colors. Just give me the total. The saleswoman opened her mouth to say something. He cut her off with a look. Move faster, please. I'm on a schedule. She didn't say another word. She grabbed a calculator and started punching numbers. The base prices are just the cars themselves. Once you factor in registration, add-ons, insurance, all in, that's 53,500,000 for all vehicles. He had nearly 300 million sitting in his account. He didn't have time to swipe one card at a time. Make it 5 sets of the same configuration. Same everything. 5 sets came out to 267,500,000. His card had just over 270 million on it. Barely enough to cover it. Whether he'd ever use 40 cars was a different question entirely. Right now, spending the money was all that mattered. And worst case, you could always use a Ferrari to impress a girl. The saleswoman had completely lost the plot. She'd sold Ferraris to rich men before, but nobody had ever walked in and bought supercars the way a person buys groceries. She looked at the calculator. The number staring back made her dizzy. My God, that's over 200 million. Gone. Just like that. He didn't care what kind of shock he was causing. He was already moving on. Do you have a LaFerrari? I'm so sorry, sir. The LaFerrari is a limited production model. All units worldwide have already been sold. You'd need to find a private seller. A flicker of genuine disappointment. That one was going to be hard to track down. He produced a card from his pocket. Charge it. The terminal beeped. And just like that, every saleswoman in the building was looking at him differently. Ferraris didn't exactly fly off the lot, which meant the staff had nothing but time. And now, every one of them had drifted over, barely concealing their fascination with this quietly dressed young man who just spent $250 million before lunch. His plain clothes, which had seemed suspicious minutes ago, now read as deliberate understatement. 200-something million out the door, 2,670 million pouring back in. Adding what he'd already stacked, he now had nearly 2,700 million in liquid cash. 40 cars meant 40 signatures. Unavoidable. He worked through the contracts. The entire sales staff orbited him like satellites. Even the manager rushed out to pour his tea and bow at every opportunity. They treated him better than they treat their own parents. Sir, I need to mention, full delivery on all vehicles will take approximately 6 months. Some are being sourced domestically, others internationally, so timing will vary. Some are being transferred from other domestic locations. Some come from overseas. Timelines will differ. Fine. Deliver them as they arrive. I can wait. The saleswoman exhaled in quiet relief. A single transaction over 200 million. She didn't dare let herself calculate the commission. But no commission in the world mattered more right now than the man sitting in front of her. Even just becoming his acquaintance, just the crumbs from a man like this, could set her up for life. In his old life, he would have jumped at the chance to chat up a roomful of beautiful women. But the clock was ticking. 24 hours. Already more than one of them burned. There was no room for distractions. Every gorgeous face in that room could wait. The system wouldn't. Put it on speaker. Sure. Hello. Am I speaking with Mr. Chu? That's me. Who's this? Good afternoon, Mr. Chu. I'm Zhao Qin, President of Commercial Bank. We've just recorded a 26 billion yuan overseas transfer on one of your accounts with us. It would be our great honor, Mr. Chu, to invite you to become one of our most distinguished VIP clients. 26 billion. The room went dead silent. From the manager to the newest hire, every single person had stopped breathing, especially the saleswoman who'd introduced him to the cars. She'd thought 200 million was terrifying, and now she was hearing 26 billion. The room spun, but he was already thinking beyond VIP upgrades. He was thinking about what a bank could actually do for him. Banks had connections. Deep ones. Tentacles in every industry. He was a nobody with no network, but the bank could be his skeleton key. President Zhao, let's set aside the VIP membership for now. I need a favor from you. Anything you need, Mr. Chu. Please, don't be shy. I'm looking to buy real estate. Either large luxury penthouses or full mansions. I'm wondering if your connections extend into that space. Mr. Chu, give me just a few minutes. Leave it with me. I'll make some calls. He ended the call. Around him, the saleswomen had gone completely silent. A few 100 million might still feel like a world they could dream their way into, but tens of billions, and counting, that was somewhere else entirely. A level they couldn't even see from where they stood. Do you have anything on the floor right now that I can drive out today? Mr. Chu, all of your vehicles were ordered with custom configurations. We still need to complete the add-ons and spec work before delivery. The earliest we can have anything ready is 3 o'clock this afternoon. That's genuinely the fastest we can move. Works for me. Whatever's ready at 3. Call me immediately and I'll come pick it up. One more thing. Top off the tank on whichever one it is. And if you want photos for the showroom, go for it. Keep it simple. He walked out of the dealership to a send-off fit for royalty. The moment the door swung shut behind him, President Zhao was calling back. Mr. Chu, good news. I've already made some inquiries on your behalf. There are a number of sellers ready to move. Whenever you're ready, where would you like to meet? Our main branch. Where is your bank? Set it up. I'll be there. It's almost noon now. If possible, I'd like everyone gathered at your branch by 3 o'clock this afternoon. In the meantime, I may need to borrow one of your conference rooms. I apologize for the pace. I know this is short notice. I trust you understand. Oh, and one more thing, President Zhao. Do you happen to know anyone who deals in private yachts or private aircraft? Manufacturers or dealers? Mr. Chu, rest assured, Commercial Bank offers a full suite of ultra-premium concierge services. Whatever you need, we can make it happen. Perfect. Then please add those to the agenda and have them ready for this afternoon. I'll see everyone at 3. He hung up and exhaled slowly. 3 o'clock. Still hours away, which meant it was time to keep spending. Fortunately, this entire street was lined with luxury car brands. Less than 500 meters later, he was walking through the door of a Porsche dealership. He hadn't even opened his mouth before a manager came surging toward him, leading an entire platoon of salespeople. The warmth was overwhelming. He blinked, confused. What's going on? Mr. Chu. Welcome. I'm Wang Li, manager here at Porsche. We're so delighted to have you with us today. In the 2 minutes he'd spent on the phone outside the Ferrari dealership, The sales team inside had already fired off messages to the entire luxury car row. By now, every high-end dealership on the street knew. An ultra-high net worth buyer had landed, and he was still shopping. So the moment Wang Li spotted him approaching, she'd mobilized her entire staff. Every last one of them came pouring out to meet him at the door. He couldn't care less. Quick question. Do you have the 911, the 918, or the Carrera GT in stock? Porsche's lineup couldn't quite match Ferrari at the top end, which meant his options here were limited. And the cheaper models? Not worth his time. Just took up space. Mr. Chu, we don't have all of those in immediate stock. Some would need to be sourced. Fine. Get it done. He had the Ferrari routine down cold by now. Full top spec on everything. Colors, whatever looks best for each model. Don't ask me. Highest available trim on all of them. No need to consult me further. Wang Li already had a calculator out and was punching numbers before he'd finished the sentence. Mr. Chu, with your selected configurations, the all-in total for all vehicles comes to 50 million yuan. Make it 5 sets. Same configuration across the board. Charge it. Wang Li's knees nearly buckled. The global economy wasn't exactly booming. Luxury goods like these were genuinely hard to move. What he'd just done in 30 seconds had shaken everyone in that room to their core. He worked through the contracts at speed. In under an hour, he walked back out of the Porsche dealership surrounded by the kind of send-off usually reserved for heads of state. Next stop, Lamborghini and Maserati, both further down the same strip. He did the math in his head. Hit those two and it would be time to head to the bank. 200 meters later, he walked into Lamborghini. The same scene played out like clockwork. He picked the Reventon, the Aventador, and the Murcielago. 3 models, premium spec. All in total, just under 40 million yuan. 5 sets. 200 million out the door. The 49 billion dropped to 47, and then the 20 billion cashback hit, pushing him to 67 billion 200 million. Sign the contract, keep moving. No time for anything else. Last stop on the strip, Maserati. It was the budget option by comparison, but perfect for gifts, for impressing people, for situations where Ferrari felt like overkill. The Quattroporte, the MC20, the Gran Cabrio, the Levant, the Gran Turismo. 5 models all specced out. Grand total, 15 million yuan. He waved his hand. 5 sets as usual. 75 million out, 750 million back. His running total climbed to 74 billion. He walked out of the dealership, stepped onto the pavement and stretched, rolling his shoulders, working the tension out of his hands. Across all 4 dealerships, the one thing that had actually cost him time was the paperwork. Contracts, signatures, photographs. Picking the cars and the specs. 3 minutes of his life. As for all those beautiful saleswomen, he simply hadn't had a spare second for them. There would be time for that later. Always more time. He checked his phone. 2 o'clock already. He flagged down a cab and headed for the bank. Commercial Bank was no ordinary institution, and its headquarters in Shenzhen made that abundantly clear. He arrived at the entrance just before 3. President Zhao, I'm outside. The man stepped forward with a wide smile and an outstretched hand. Mr. Chu, I'm Zhao Qian, President of Commercial Bank. It's an absolute honor to receive you. President Zhao, the honor is mine. Mr. Chu, shall we get you something to eat first? I imagine you haven't had a chance. I appreciate it, but time is short. The conference room was already packed. President Zhao personally poured his tea, then addressed the group. Mr. Chu, everyone you requested is here. Brief introductions were made. He swept the room with a look and spoke calmly. I apologize for the unconventional approach, everyone. Gathering you this way on such short notice wasn't my preference, but my schedule simply doesn't allow for anything else right now. I trust that by the time we're done here, you'll find the trip well worth it. They were seasoned dealmakers, they weren't going to bristle over logistics. And besides, President Zhao had already warned them. The man sitting at the head of that table was operating on a level of liquidity that made their biggest clients look modest. In the current economic climate, even the wealthiest people in the room had most of their wealth tied up in assets. Real estate, funds, equities. Truly liquid billionaires? Vanishingly rare, which was precisely why they'd all shown up, and shown up eager. First order of business. Real estate. He gave the room a nod. If everyone could pass me their materials, we can get started. More than 30 listings. Penthouses, estates, the full range. He moved fast, scanning for the one thing that mattered. The surroundings. These were Shenzhen's most prestigious developments. Nothing here was within reach of ordinary buyers. The cheapest penthouse in the stack started at 200,000 yuan per square meter, with a minimum floor area pushing 230 square meters. He spent a solid hour working through every page. At some point, a takeout box had appeared quietly at his elbow. He set down the last folder and picked up the food without ceremony. If I were to buy from each of you, what kind of perks are we talking about? They exchanged glances and took turns making their cases. Across the board, the offers were similar. 3 years of property management fees waived, utilities covered, a complimentary parking space, and 10 full home cleaning sessions over the first 3 years. He ran the numbers. The cheapest unit in the pile, a penthouse, was listed at 46 million. The most expensive estate hit 800 million. 32 properties total. 7 estates, 25 penthouses. Combined price, 43 billion yuan. He had 74 billion sitting in accounts. He didn't flinch. If anything, he was quietly thrilled, because spending 43 billion meant 430 billion was about to land in his lap. They'd come to this meeting expecting to scout, not to close. Usually there were site visits, extended negotiations, a week of back and forth before anyone signed anything. Nobody had imagined the man would look at photos and place the order on the spot. Nobody had brought contracts. But one phone call fixed that. Couriers were dispatched immediately. Get the purchase contracts here now. I mean immediately. Yes, purchase contracts. Bring them here as fast as humanly possible. He turned his attention to the 3 yacht representatives at the end of the table. Do you have your materials ready? All 3 reached into their bags and laid their portfolios before him with both hands. After witnessing the real estate transaction, they had no illusions about who they were dealing with. This man wasn't a buyer. He was a force of nature. And if that force wanted something from you, you made absolutely sure you delivered. He scanned the yacht brochures and pointed to 3 models. These 3. I want all of them. And I'd also like to commission a custom build. Mr. Chu, you have our word. There is nothing we cannot build to order. He gave a satisfied nod and rattled off his specifications without hesitation. All 3 firms scrambled to get every word down. The requirements are demanding. I want you 3 to compete for the commission. Best proposal wins the build. Just then, the purchase contracts arrived from the property sellers. He pulled them toward him and began signing, while giving the 3 yacht firms a few minutes to prepare their bids. He also turned to the private aviation representatives and began working through their materials. He frowned slightly. None of the current models were exactly what he had in mind. But that was the nature of private aircraft. The build costs alone meant nothing was kept in stock. Everything was made to order. He laid out his requirements and told each firm to go back to their manufacturers immediately. His specifications were extensive. He spoke, they wrote, and the calls to factories started flying. Beside him, President Zhao watched the whole thing unfold with the look of a man who had lived his entire life wrong. Zhao had spent decades as a bank president. He'd seen wealth. He thought he understood it. He was wrong. Normal people haggled over vegetables at the market. This man was commissioning superyachts and private jets. In the same breath, in the same afternoon, with the detached calm of someone ordering takeout. By the time the signing was done, the yacht firms had delivered their competitive bids. One firm came out ahead. They'd won the custom commission. The vessel he'd requested was something he'd sketched out in his head during the taxi ride, pulling from a quick mobile search and cross-referencing each firm's existing fleet to find what was possible and push well beyond it. The final price, 25 billion yuan. A figure that would raise eyebrows in any boardroom on the planet. After the yacht and property transactions cleared, his total fortune blasted through 700 billion yuan. 722 billion to be precise. And if he ever wanted to, he could withdraw every cent in cash. Physical cash. By any measure of the ultra-wealthy, that made him a figure in a category of his own. With the real estate and yacht deals wrapped up, he turned to the final item on the agenda. Private aviation. After a round of deliberation among the competing firms, China Eastern stepped up and took the build. The specs. International ultra-luxury. The finest private aircraft configuration money could currently buy. Final price, 35 billion yuan. Whether it was a world record was anyone's guess. But he could tell, everyone in the room had gone numb to numbers. Every contract signed today, he had zero concern about foul play. In the eyes of every representative in that room, he was a titan, a man backed by an ancient, formidable family. One that commanded staggering amounts of generational wealth. Nobody in their right mind tampered with someone like that. Serve him well and the rewards were limitless. Cross him and you didn't want to imagine the alternative. When the last signature was dry and the last card charged, his fortune crossed a threshold he hadn't dared say out loud. 103 billion, 700 million yuan. The representatives rushed out the moment they had their contracts and transfers. Every single one of them already on the phone, racing back to brief their organizations on just how seriously they needed to treat this account. Once the room emptied, it was past 7 in the evening. He pressed 2 fingers against his temple and exhaled. The truth was, starting at 10 in the morning and running non-stop until now, he was genuinely exhausted. Just the afternoon alone. The thinking, the negotiating, the endless signing, had wrung him dry. Mr. Chu, you look like you could use a break. I'd like to extend an invitation, if you'll allow it. Dinner, my treat. Consider it a chance to decompress. He didn't feel the same frenetic urgency anymore. With 100 billion in the bank, 40 luxury cars on order, a mansion portfolio, a private superyacht being built, and a custom jet in production, he could afford a meal. He could afford to breathe. Let's go. The moment he stepped out the front door of the bank, a Ferrari SF90 was idling at the curb, gleaming under the streetlights. Delivered, right on time, just as promised. The body, red as a lit match, burning from every angle. Inside and out, it was everything he could have asked for. Led by President Qin, The two made their way to a private dining room. President Qin, what kinds of things tend to burn through money the fastest? Qin thought for a moment. Luxury watches, fine art, high-end jewelry. All big-ticket items. What else? If you really want to spend fast, investment is the way to go. Are there companies right now that are desperate for funding? I'd like to back a few, if the opportunity is right. Qin smiled. There's no shortage of those. Across every industry in the country, there are companies starving for capital everywhere you look. Then do me a favor, look into entertainment, media, healthcare, and education. Any sector, as long as there's real potential. Nothing too weak though. No point backing something with no future. That last part was just for show. With a 10 times cashback system, any investment was pure profit. Leave it with me, Mr. Gu. I'll reach out as soon as dinner's done. The two quickly reached an understanding. I do hope you'll consider keeping your deposits with us. You know better than anyone, you can't keep all your eggs in one basket. Not everything stays here. But I can promise you, your bank will always have the largest share. Old Qin had gone above and beyond. The least he could do was throw him a little business. By the time dinner was done, it was well past 9. I'll leave the outreach in your hands, President Qin. The honor is entirely ours, Mr. Gu. One more thing. I'm also looking to buy a building. Any leads on someone willing to sell? A commercial tower that's not cheap and sellers are rare. I'd need to make some serious inquiries. Something seemed to click in his mind. Actually, would a newly completed building that hasn't opened yet work for you? Absolutely. I'll handle the renovation myself. In that case, I may know exactly the one. Which one? A few years back, a developer took out loans with us and built twin towers. 2 buildings side by side. Commercial, office, hotel, residential. All built into the design. They finished construction just last month. Interior work is underway, though I'm not sure exactly how far along. I don't want to lease, I want to buy outright. See if they're open to selling. If the price is right, I'll buy it today. Qin Yuanshan nodded and dialed. President Qin, calling this late. Must be something important? I'm calling on someone else's behalf. Got a quick question for you. On someone's behalf? Who is it? What's the question? Those 2 towers of yours. What's the status? Old Qin, you're asking about the money, aren't you? Relax, we're almost done. Once it's running, the rental income will cover the loan payments. Don't worry, that's not what I'm asking. I want to know. Are you open to selling? Selling, just asking. I've got a serious buyer, was going to make an introduction. But if you're not interested, no worries. Hold on. How serious are we talking? I can't say much. Only that this person can buy both towers cash in full. That made Director Lu pause. 2 towers in Shenzhen, prime real estate. Renting them out would take years just to break even, and every month the loan payments kept bleeding. Waiting to accumulate enough capital for the next phase would take even longer. A fast cash exit was looking pretty good right now. All right, Old Qin. Let me gather the team tomorrow and we'll talk. Director Lu, the buyer needs an answer tonight. Before 10 tomorrow morning, we can still talk. After 10, he walks and finds something else. Come on, Old Qin, who buys a building overnight? That's not how this works. No sincerity. All I can tell you is, this man spent close to 10 billion in cash today alone. That stopped Lu cold. 10 billion in liquid cash. Whatever else you could say, that was real power. But why the rush? What was the urgency? Was one night really enough to make a decision this big? Lu's mind raced. Nobody bought buildings like this. You took your time, compared options, negotiated, then paid a deposit. This buyer didn't play by any of those rules. But what could he do? The man was too rich to ignore. Fine. I'll call you back in an hour. After the call ended, he rubbed his temples. Oh, the investment side too. Ask around while you're at it. I'll send out a group message. See who's looking for backing. He was sitting on hundreds of billions. Letting it sit idle made no sense. Every yuan spent was 10 coming back. Even without the system, the investments alone were sound. The message had barely gone out, less than 10 seconds, when Qin's phone rang. Well, isn't this Wang from Jingrui? What can I do for you? I just saw the message from President Qin. Not sure if it's real. 100%. And the man himself is sitting right next to me. It's a bit late tonight, but first thing tomorrow morning, I'd like to come pay my respects. Qin glanced over for approval. Tomorrow at 8 sharp, conference room at the bank. Bring your materials and contracts. Thank you, President Qin. Thank you. In under an hour, Qin fielded more than 20 calls. Every one of them hunting for investment and partnership. Plenty more couldn't even get through, so they sent messages instead. Then, right on the hour, Director Lu called back. President Qin, we talked it over. The towers are on the table, but any units already under contract, that's on the buyer to sort out. He gave Qin a thumbs up. Not a problem. Tomorrow morning at 7, bank conference room. Bring everything. A few more pleasantries. Then the line went dead. Qin stared at his phone, messages stacking up faster than he could read them, and let out a quiet, helpless laugh. Mr. Gu, how would you like to handle this many inquiries? He thought for a second. Tell them, tonight if they're free, come find us. Tomorrow otherwise. But 9 o'clock sharp is the cutoff. After 9, don't bother. I have other matters from 10 onward. Whatever those matters were, it wasn't Qin's place to ask. Qin fired off the message to everyone, then checked the time. Shall we change venues? Minutes later, Qin led him to the entrance of a private members club. This place belongs to a friend of mine. Spa, private suites, massage top tier, and quiet enough for serious conversations. Under Qin's escort, he was shown into room 666. Gentlemen, this is Mr. Gu. Tonight's golden goose. Mr. Gu, a pleasure. He was young, but in their eyes, he might as well have walked in with a halo above his head. He didn't know every industry deeply, but he knew which ones never died. Healthcare, education, those pillars don't fall. By the end of the session, he had backed dozens of companies and corporate groups. Total deployed, 30 billion yuan. And 30 billion out meant 300 billion back. The last representative didn't leave until 3 or 4 in the morning. He finally allowed himself a moment's rest, but barely. Qin woke him before dawn. Mr. Gu, time to head to the bank. We have appointments. Dark circles and all. The two arrived at the commercial bank conference room. Director Liu had shown up with his secretary and a mountain of documents. He took them, skimmed straight to what mattered. I'll take it. He planned to make these towers his base of operations, no tenants. 30 billion for both towers, paid in full. 300 billion came flooding back. On top of that, he deployed another 20 billion across the remaining representatives. By 9:50, the last contract was signed. He excused himself and slipped into the restroom. A few minutes later, the system chimed in his head. 24 hours elapsed. The system is now unbound. Wishing the host a happy life ahead. He'd always known this moment would come. The system was never meant to stay. Safe travels, then, he said quietly. The system dissolved like scattered light. He exhaled, steadied himself, and walked back in. In 24 hours, with the system's help, he had generated a total of 823.7 billion yuan. Every last yuan of it liquid cash, ready to spend at any moment. And that said nothing of the fixed assets. Dozens of villas and penthouses, hundreds of luxury cars, a private jet, a custom superyacht, and equity stakes in nearly 100 companies, plus 2 skyscrapers. Even if it all came crashing down someday, selling the hard assets alone would still leave him sitting on tens of billions. Thank you for everything, President Qin. I've got other things to attend to. I'll head out. You're a busy man, Mr. Gu. That's how it should be. I'll walk you out. He said his goodbyes and headed back to his old rental apartment. There wasn't much to pack. He picked up the phone and called his landlord. Uncle Liu, I'm moving out. Little Gu, if you're in a tight spot, don't rush. The room's yours. Pay me when you get paid. It's fine. Rent anywhere else and you'll pay twice as much. No, I bought a place. I have my own home now. Ha! You little... Looks like you've made it. Alright, gather your things. Leave the key at my door. Send me whatever's left on the deposit when you get a chance. Will do. Thanks, Uncle Liu. That's settled. He finally called Lin Zian. Dude, what the hell? I've been waiting all day. You're just calling now. Ha! Just wrapped up. You sound way too happy. What happened? Why wouldn't I be? Debt's cleared. Every last penny. What did you do? That transfer you sent me. What was all that? You paid yours off? Yeah, all 20,000. I'm down to 2,000 left. Good. No, you need to explain. How am I supposed to pay back 20 grand? Whenever you can. No rush. Or don't. Doesn't matter. Crypto, some coins I bought years ago. Nearly forgot about them. Cashed out this week. Turns out they were worth something. Nice. Happy for you. Just save it up. We've both still got a long road ahead. Relax, man. Enjoy it. Some of us are out here grinding. Goodbye. He laughed and hung up. Then he drove his car to a nearby office tower and stepped inside. He used to be just another 9-to-5er here. Not anymore. He found his manager. Manager Lee, I'm resigning. What happened? You didn't show up this morning. Is everything all right? Nothing's wrong. I held some crypto from a few years back. Sold it. Time to move on. No drama, no scene. Manager Lee signed off without hesitation. He said his goodbyes to his coworkers, submitted the paperwork and walked out. But just minutes later, someone burst back upstairs. You guys are not going to believe what I just saw downstairs. Gu Beichen, driving a Ferrari. What? A Ferrari? He was already gone, pulling smoothly away from the curb. With wealth like this, the real life was just beginning. First order of business. A wardrobe upgrade. Luxury shopping had its own complications. Some brands required proof of wealth just to walk in the door. But that wasn't a problem anymore. He had people who could handle that, specifically the bank. He called Qin Yuanshan immediately. President Qin, does the bank have any relationships with high-end luxury brands? Mr. Gu, rest assured. In this country, commercial bank has a hand in nearly everything. I'd like to do some luxury shopping today. Can your team connect me with the right contacts? Of course. I'll assign you one of our specialists. She works closely with all the major retailers. She'll accompany you personally. Would that work? Perfect. I'll wait for your call. Under 3 minutes after he hung up, an unfamiliar number rang through. Hello? Is this Mr. Gu? That's me. Mr. Gu, I'm the shopping consultant President Qin assigned for you. We actually met briefly at dinner last night. I'm Meng. Ah, it's you. For luxury shopping, I'd recommend International Mixed City, the most comprehensive selection in Shenzhen, and the caliber is exceptional. Works for me. I'm driving. I'll pass by the bank on the way. Ride with me. You're too kind. I'm honored to be of service. For Meng Xiyu, this was a once-in-a-lifetime opening. Billions spent in a single day, 2 skyscrapers for 300 billion. Today was her shot and she knew it. She'd spent the entire morning in that conference room. Pouring tea, handling logistics, watching the whole thing unfold. She'd never seen anything like it. His arrival had given her an opening. Whether she could take it was entirely up to her. When he arrived, he'd already sized her up through the windshield before she even got in. Up close, she was even more striking. A figure that turned heads. She felt his gaze and silently filed it away. You know a lot about luxury brands? I do. Our work involves constant collaboration with Shenzhen's top boutiques. Plus I have a personal interest. So yes, I've picked up quite a bit. The car arrived at International Mixed City. As they walked, he studied her quietly. About 5'6", lean and graceful. The kind of posture that heels only made more commanding. She was sizing him up 2 plainclothes budget brands. Nothing matching the image of a man worth hundreds of billions. Then again, maybe that was the point. Yes, Armani. For menswear, I'd suggest Hermes, Armani, and Zegna. They cover both business and casual. Perfect for someone your age. For timepieces, Patek Philippe and Vacheron Constantin are worth considering. Let's start with Zegna. Of course. This is a VIP guest of our bank, Mr. Gu. Welcome, Mr. Gu. Can I assist you with anything today? Based on my build for suits. 2 business, 2 casual. Right away, sir. He changed into a casual set on the spot. And Zegna was just the first stop. Hermes, Dior, and Armani followed. Total spent, 1.5 million yuan. Clothes sorted, he moved on to watches. After working through several display cases, he found the one. The Patek Philippe Grand Complications. Reference 6300 G010. Price tag, 31.5 million yuan. He swiped the card without hesitation. Beside him, Meng Xiyu watched in quiet awe. She dreamed of this kind of life. Now it was standing right next to her. Coming out of the Patek boutique, he checked the time. Past noon. Any good restaurants nearby? I'll treat you, call it your fee for the day. Any recommendations? There's a French restaurant close by, it's excellent. Although, the prices are perfect. Let's go. He scanned the menu briefly. 2 steaks alone ran several thousand yuan. But the whole point was to live at the top, and no matter how lavish the dinner, he couldn't eat through 800 billion in one sitting. By the time the meal was nearly over, Meng Xiyu still hadn't made her move. And the clock was running. She was anxious. He hadn't designated a personal banking advisor yet. 10 people were competing for that position. If she let this chance slip, someone else might walk through the door next. She watched him eating quietly across the table and made a decision. She'd never known a man who could resist. While he was thinking about which apartment to visit first, he felt something unexpected beneath the table. He looked up at Meng Xiyu. A long, knowing look. This one knew what she was doing. Under his gaze, she flushed slightly. Bro, Miss Meng, are you? He didn't need to finish. Her meaning was clear, and he wasn't about to turn it down. I want to be with you. I don't do relationships. I can be your companion. And I've never been with anyone. He was skeptical, honestly. Girls in her world. Surrounded by wealthy men all day. It was hard to take that claim at face value. A woman with her looks had clearly had options. He didn't buy it. I'm serious. Take me to the hospital if you want proof. That actually landed. Nobody made that offer unless they meant it. I'm curious. With all you have going for you, why haven't you been with anyone before? Surely you've had no shortage of men. I've dated, but I've never let anyone that close. I didn't want to rush. And yes, there have been plenty of men, but their intentions were obvious. They wanted my face and my body. Not me. I'm not afraid of intimacy. I'm afraid of choosing wrong. Honestly, I'm practical. I want money, a good life, buy whatever I want, travel whenever I feel like it, never have to work again. I just don't have the means to get there on my own. I see. I'm not going to pretend I'm not materialistic, but I also don't prey on ordinary people. If a man doesn't meet my standard, I say it clearly. I don't string anyone along. I tell them up front. It's not happening. And I don't take their money. That was actually impressive. Stringing men along with false hope was the classic trap, and it always ended badly. She'd refused them cleanly from the start. No messy history to deal with later. Smart. Calculated. So, what do you say? Meng Xiu was sharp. She knew exactly what to offer and what to hold back. I'll start you off with a Porsche, and there's an apartment you can stay in for now. After that, it's up to you to make yourself irreplaceable. I'll be good. I promise I'll be good. Then consider this a trial period. If it doesn't work out, I'll still give you a parting gift. A settlement and silence. Clean from both ends. Yes, I'll behave. I'm heading out to look at apartments this afternoon. Come along if you're free. I'd love to see your new home. Lunch had run over 20,000 yuan. A light meal by anyone's definition. Meng Xiu stared at the bill in quiet disbelief. My entire month's salary, gone on one lunch. With so many properties to choose from, he picked one without much deliberation. Arch de Triomphe Residences. Having someone like this in his life felt surreal. It had only ever happened in dreams before. He marveled quietly at how fast life could change. Meng Xiu understood exactly where she stood. She was clear-eyed about it. Working in banking, I've seen plenty of wealthy men. Every one of them looks polished on the surface. None of them are faithful. The modest ones still keep 3 women on the side. That's just what money does to people. She stood at the window, staring out at the city below, lost in thought. We're different. What are you thinking? Look at this city. All of it. And ordinary people spend their whole lives never really belonging here. This city's like that, yeah. It despises you when you're poor. Worships you when you're rich. She shot him a look. The poetic mood shattered. She walked over slowly and leaned into him, resting her head against his chest. He ran his hand through her hair, his arm around the soft curve of her waist, breathing in the faint warmth of her perfume. Something stirred. So, what do you think of this place? Perfect. Like something out of a dream. I could never have reached this on my own. Then this is yours. Stay here, 3 years with me, and I'll sign the deed over to you. Her heart hammered. One sentence and her whole life could change. No more grinding in Shenzhen. No more spending decades saving for a square meter. Just this. They rested for a while that afternoon. Get up. Let's go eat. What are you in the mood for? Maybe something restorative? Worried you wore yourself out. The two got dressed and drifted down to the parking garage. Then set out. Over dinner, Meng Xiu finally couldn't hold back the question. How many others are there? Besides me, none. Just you. She blinked. She'd fully expected competition, had been mentally preparing her strategy. The fact that there was no one else genuinely caught her off guard. For now, just you. Unclear. Still, she felt something. Not jealousy exactly, they'd only known each other a day. But somewhere between the dessert and the check, she was mentally flipping through every book she'd ever bought on the subject. Asterisk How to Keep a Man Happy. 100 Recipes He'll Never Forget. Asterisk. All still sitting unread on her shelf. Now seemed like a very good time to crack them open. Every man has a weakness. And the ones who know how to play to it, they're not manipulators. They're devoted. The kind who ask what you want before doing anything. Who make you feel like you're the center of the universe. The kind who check on you when you're cold. Who always defer to your opinion. Who wrap their whole world around yours and make you feel both respected and needed. What man could resist that? What man would even want to? She thought of the girl from the travel documentary. Bright-eyed, energetic, calling every man big brother, with that effortless charm. Those girls had a gift, and she intended to learn it. If you ever find someone else, please don't just throw me away. I only want to stay by your side. That soft, helpless voice, those eyes, that expression that made you feel like the villain just for breathing wrong. What man stands a chance? He was caught off guard. He hadn't expected this much depth from her, but she'd given him her first. Unless she did something truly unforgivable, he could live with a lot. Behave yourself and don't cause trouble. I'm not going anywhere. Thank you. You're the best. Back at the hotel that night, round 2 unfolded. Armed with the lessons of the first time, both sides brought considerably more to the table. Meng Xiu had clearly been paying attention. Her defense held much better this time. The next morning, she was already gone by the time he woke up. A message waited on his phone. Life with money was still taking some getting used to. No alarm. No commute. Sleep as long as he wanted. Do whatever he felt like. Still didn't feel entirely real. Like he might wake up at any moment. He decided to go see the towers today. Spending 300 billion on 2 buildings without even looking at them felt wrong. Both towers stood on the banks of the Huangpu River, magnificent. He stood at the base, staring up at the twin skyscrapers, something swelling in his chest. He wandered through the floors, studying the layout, already sketching out a vision. Floors 1 through 4. A high-end retail mall with flagship stores and a premium supermarket. Floors 5 through 7. Dining, fitness, leisure, and entertainment. Floor 8 and above. Corporate offices, staff housing, executive suites, and his personal office at the top, with a sweeping view of the river. The vision was clear. Now he needed a serious renovation firm to bring it to life. He dialed Qin Yuanshan. President Qin, do you know any top-tier design and construction firms? I want to gut renovate both towers. Complete overhaul, the works. Actually, you invested in one yourself that day. You might have forgotten. He'd signed so many contracts that day, most of them had blurred together. But now that Qin mentioned it, yes, a design firm. The founder's name was something like Zheng Haoren. He pulled up the number and called. I believe I invested in your company at some point. You did. You're our single largest shareholder, holding 35%. And funny you should call, I just picked up 2 towers from Director Liu. I want to completely renovate them. Chairman Gu, no problem at all. It's your company. We'll make it happen. Work out a fair price. Then send a team over to take measurements. I also want to walk through my concept with you in person. Chairman Gu, the pricing will be family rates, no question. And I'll personally assign our best people to this project. Appreciate it. After the grind of the past couple days, he needed a break. He called Lin Zian. Want to grab dinner tonight? I'm at work, man. How about barbecue after I clock out? Your treat. Understood, Godfather. I'll be there the second I punch out. Our spot. I'll be waiting. It was already past 5. He drove over and arrived just before 7. About 10 minutes later, Lin Zian rolled up on his electric scooter, cool as ever. He dropped into the seat across from him and tossed over a cigarette. Look at you. Made it big and already hosting. Big is a stretch. Just a little something. Debt's cleared, yeah. But there's still plenty to spend it on. If you've got the cash, buy a place, a car, put down a deposit and take your time. And if you're not quite there yet, save it. Don't blow it. Money isn't easy to come by these days. I'm good. Got out of those coins heavy. Bought the apartment, bought the car. Still have savings. Bro, what were you even doing back then? How'd you stack that much crypto? Guess. Man, you really turned it around. House, car, money in the bank. Now find a good woman and settle down. Life's only going to get better. Settle down? No thanks. Why not? Not getting married? Probably not. I'm probably never getting married. Not in this lifetime. What happened? Did some girl do a number on you? Talk to me. Nothing like that. Just look around. The environment says everything. You can't just spend your whole life alone though. I've got money. I'll find a long-term companion. That's enough. No marriage, no headaches. Simple. Right? When the cost of marriage exceeds what you'd spend on a mistress, and the moral odds favor the mistress, who in their right mind would sign that contract? Wisdom, father. Alright, come clean. You've already started, haven't you? There is someone. Legend. Their friendship ran deep enough that almost nothing was off limits. Almost. One thing stayed private, the system. So now that you're loaded, what's the plan? What comes next? Keep working at the old place? Quit already. Then what? You just planning to never work again? Doesn't matter either way. What I have now is enough to last me several lifetimes. Jealous? I'm still out here punching a clock. Want me to spot you? I'll make my own way. No rush. I'm not dating anyone, just grinding. But if the day comes when I really can't hold on, I'll call in that favor. Say the word. Anytime. That 22,000 you sent me, I still have about 30 or 40 left. I'm sending it back. Keep it. Buy your parents something. I won't say no then. Between us? You better not. Alright, we're good here. Let's roll. Out on the street, Lin Zian spotted the car. Okay, for real, a Ferrari. You actually made it. Want one? I'll get you one. Pass. A cab rolled up for Lin Zian. They said their goodbyes. Then he got a different kind of call. Hello. Where to tonight, sir? Club XO. Years since he'd been to a club. Tonight felt like the right night to find out what the other side looked like. Club XO wasn't short on luxury cars. But a $600,000 Ferrari still turned every head in the lot. The engine hadn't even gone quiet before eyes were already on him. The door swung open. Welcome, sir. Let me get you sorted. Let's go. The young promoter led him inside, talking as they walked. Where would you like to sit? We have Section A and Section B. Best section. Best seat. Right this way. He was led to a booth that could comfortably seat 15. Dead center view of the stage. Not bad. What are you drinking tonight? He flipped through the menu briefly. The Dragon King package. 88,888. 5 sets of that. And the Hennessy, the Dom Perignon, and the Moat, 1 bottle each. Let me see them. Top shelf stuff, thousands to tens of thousands a pop. He added some mixers on top, total already past 10,000. The promoter stared. You're sure about the Dragon King? 5 sets. Swipe it. 500,000 in one card swipe. Even in a city like Shenzhen, an economic powerhouse, dropping 500,000 at a club in a single night was a different league entirely. Men who threw down like this existed, but they were rare. He surveyed the room. Half the crowd here could probably only dream of spending what he'd just spent on bottle service. You here alone? Yeah. Want me to send some girls over? Sure. But quality only. Mediocre, don't bother. Understood. Nobody ordinary gets through. He pulled out his phone and sent a message to a private group. XO Club. Top tier high roller. 500k spend. High quality only. Who's available? He tagged everyone, then added, if your photos are filtered beyond recognition, don't waste anyone's time. Within 60 seconds, the phone was shaking non-stop. Photo after photo flooding in. The promoter put the phone in front of him immediately. Pick whoever you like, sir. He scrolled through with mild curiosity. The group had 500 members, all active. He didn't care about the numbers. He cared about the photos. And Shenzhen did not disappoint. Even the unfiltered ones had plenty to offer. An 18-year-old in her first year of college, fresh and untouched. A 25-year-old with ice in her eyes. A 30-year-old carrying herself like she owned every room she walked into. He picked 4. One innocent, one chic, one sultry. All appeared to be somewhere between 20 and 25. The promoter messaged all 4 immediately. Soon after, the bottles arrived. Is this guy serious? All this? Just for himself. How much did he spend? Has to be 6 figures. He's alone. Ladies, do we have a shot? The room was buzzing. People further away were standing just to get a look. A crowd of women drifted over, hoping to settle near him. But most of them didn't clear the bar. Passable at best. He wasn't interested. In an environment like this, it was dangerously easy to lose yourself. Then, through the noise, someone caught his eye. Hi. I'm Choo Choo. Sit. She was one of the 4 from the group. He gave her a proper look. Oval face, blunt cut bangs, long hair down her back. Pure. Almost disarmingly so, but he knew better. Girls who worked this circuit didn't have a style. They wore whatever the client wanted. Given 30 seconds, they could cycle through every persona. Innocent, seductive, cold, untouchable, ethereal, compliant. Women were the world's greatest chameleons. Choo Choo had gone with white crop top, black miniskirt, smooth bare legs, white sneakers. If innocent was the brand, she'd fully committed. The second girl wore gold-frame glasses, mid-20s, with a sharp coldness that drew you in whether you meant to look or not. Third was soft and ethereal in a blue slip dress. The last was pure heat, black lace, semi-transparent, hemline aggressively short, black sheer stockings underneath. I'm Yuri. Hi, I'm Nini. Good evening. Call me Rose. He waved a hand, wearing just the right amount of buzz. Sit down. Drink whatever you want. Tonight's on me. Glasses clinked. Laughter filled the booth. He leaned toward the promoter. Bring a tablet over. Let them order for themselves. Whatever looks good. Don't hold back. Of course, sir. The 4 women traded a glance. A flicker of pure delight. They went straight for the most expensive champagne on the menu. Isn't this a bit too much? Money's just money. Comes back. Having fun is what counts. He looked up. Hey, the DJ and the dancers. Tip them 10,000 each. And everyone in this club tonight. Their tabs on me. The DJ grabbed the mic. Tonight. Every single drink in this club is on our guest. The crowd erupted. The room roared back. It roared again. The 4 women were looking at him like he'd hung the moon. Whoever impresses me most tonight goes home with a Maserati. The words landed. For pairs of eyes snapped to each other. The current between them turned electric. At 2 a.m., he rose from the booth, carrying the night's warmth in every step. Let's take this somewhere else. Outside, the valet had already pulled the Ferrari to the most visible spot in the lot. He tossed the keys. Can you drive? Drive us somewhere worthy. Of course, sir. He pointed to the Lamborghini Aventador sitting beside it. Arrived at some point without fanfare. You 3, that one. Under the city lights, 2 of the world's most savage supercars growled to life. Engines roaring like wild beasts released, and roared toward the Huangpu River. A new era, his era, had only just begun.